So one of the biggest things we talk about, one of the 4 pain points that we know you guys have is marketing your business. And so today we're talking about growing your bookkeeping business through Facebook groups. Currently, is anyone that's on live with us, do you currently use Facebook groups? Have you tried them in the past and decided to stop using them? And you can post that in the comment section. Okay, so why are Facebook groups great for growing a bookkeeping business? Facebook groups have your ideal client. You can find them. And so I know when I was doing Facebook groups predominantly, like when I went through a season where I was really trying to use Facebook groups, I would search for 3 to 5 a day, like to join. Sometimes you don't get into 3 to 5 a day because of rules and approval and things like that. And then I would find 3 that I really liked. So on any given week, there were 3 that were like super active and things like that. And then I rotated through. I know Megan and I are both in a Facebook group for cottage bakeries. And what I like about that group, it's not a primary group I use because most of it is talking about what they need to do. I also wanted to start a home cottage law bakery with my kids. They really want to cook from home, but they were currently too young. So in the coming year, when they can also help out in the kitchen legally to meet those cottage law requirements. But what I love about that group is while it's fun to see stuff because I'm actually legitimately interested in the group. 2, when someone comments on mileage or how do I track this, how all of these things, I can just be a part of the community and answer those questions and build relationships with other business owners doing that, even though they might not be my ideal, like super ideal client. For that one, they might not be your most ideal client, but it's a lot of fun to be in. Those groups are okay to be in. Those are like your mom groups that you're in where you're making connections. We talked last week when we did our masterclass about the importance of making connections, having a network of people. And that's what Facebook groups do for you, is they start to build you a network of people, and you can start to find your people where you can interact with instead of having to physically drive to a business network meeting. You get to just live life with people on Facebook groups. So that's what I love about Facebook groups. We can get into some of the nitty gritty. I'm going to pause there. Megan, what is your opinion of Facebook groups?
I love them too. That's how is a big way that I built my business, especially in the very beginning of my business. One thing I did, so you can do Facebook groups a couple of different ways. You can find, like Sherry was saying, more industry specific where you have the bakers and whatever, if you have a specific industry that you're trying to focus on, or you can find local Facebook groups. And there's a couple of different things. So I've been able to find local business owner Facebook groups. You can go in your local, like just your neighborhood pages, what's going on in whatever your town is, those kind of things. I guess everybody has that. I always reference that, and that's what ours is called, is what's going on in Ascension or whatever. But so you can start building those relationships in those types of groups. But that's primarily where I found a lot of my first clients, was posting in some of those groups, building relationships, getting my name out there and stuff. So I'm a huge fan of Facebook groups. There's definitely tons of them have rules, or majority of them have rules. So you just have to be aware of the rules. And I would definitely figure out, like, which ones are they more industry specific? How can you provide value to those groups and those types of things? So if you're like, hey, I just want to focus on bakeries or whatever the case is, that gives you the opportunity to learn some of the softwares, to learn their pain points, and all those different types of things, especially very early on in your business when you're like, I'm not really sure exactly how to word these things to get people in this industry interested in what I have to offer. Guess what? If you get in those groups and you start searching tax, bookkeeping, just random things like that, or reading the posts that are happening, you're going to start seeing a lot of that. How can you provide some value on some of those posts? 1099 season's coming up. Great opportunity to just say, hey, just a reminder, make sure you have all your W-9s filled out for 1099s that are due at the end of January. So you can say that in any of these Facebook groups. Some of them don't want you like marketing your business per se. So don't do anything that has a logo on it. Don't do it from your business page. If you do it from your personal page and you just do a reminder like that, people are going to really and truly appreciate it. And then you're showing like, hey, you're an expert in this area. So when they have questions, they're going to start DMing and all those things. And as people are like interacting, I would send them friends requests. It's something that I've always done. So yeah, huge fan, Facebook groups. And you don't, I think a lot of people freak out when you say Facebook groups because I don't want to start a Facebook group. You don't have to start it yourself. You can, like, definitely don't think you don't have to, but you can utilize there's so many out there already that you can utilize.
One thing I noticed with my clients, so if you haven't read, and Allie, here's a book recommendation, Pumpkin Plan. So she'll drop the link if she has a second for you. But Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz talks about really determining who is your ideal client and then identifying who their vendors are. And so one of my clients is an Amazon seller, and I did this experiment with his vendors. And one of an e-commerce vendor is Helium. So Helium 10 is a e-commerce vendor, like software supplier. There are Helium 10 Facebook groups. Now, some niche specific groups are going to filter you out if you're not like actually working in the like business. One thing I liked about the Amazon thing was I used to have an Amazon store, so I could pass my way into some of these Facebook groups. So keep that in mind. There might have to be some overlap to get into some Facebook groups, but keep that in mind. You can work around that. You don't have to lie. I'm not telling you to lie, but you can find the vendors that you can work with, just being yourself.
And one thing that I've noticed, I'm glad you said that because that was always, especially when I mentioned the cottage law bakery thing, I got a lot of people saying, hey, it says, are you a baker? Like it asks those questions. But a lot of time, and some of them will not accept you. Sherry's 100% correct. But maybe like those people that are in that group are just not your people. But a lot of times, if you tell them like, no, I'm a bookkeeper, but I serve this industry, or do you have a friend? Like in my situation, the reason I joined them to start with is I had a friend that had a question that I was trying to get answered. So I was trying to get in these groups and figure out what the answer was. So like I put all that in there when they asked the question, and I still got approved in some of them. So like you can be honest and still get in the groups. Don't lie and say, yes, I'm a baker. And even though you have absolutely no interest in it, be honest.
100%. So there was one group that I joined because I have another client who's in the real estate industry. And so I joined some real estate groups in the area and connected with the admin. She read my questions or whatever. We connected over Messenger, and she actually promoted me in the group for a bit. And I actually got a client from that group just because of her own authority. I didn't continue because she had just started her Facebook group and it fizzled out, but connecting with admins, people of influence, can really help you grow. I think sometimes we're like so scared of admins because we're going to get booted from the group. Get booted from the group, but make friends. Like if we could connect with 100 people of influence, not influencers, people of influence that are influencing your ideal audience, coaching your ideal audience, teaching ideally your ideal audience how to run a better business, you're going to get referrals. There's someone in the group I was talking to yesterday. She has a client so she is in our unlimited one-to-one program. She has a bridal client and she coaches bridal in the bridal industry. So she's a bridal coach and she keeps sending her clients to this bookkeeper. Anyway, food for that.
And that's all it takes is like one person, because I know somebody who found a group of photographers, I think it was, and ended up doing the books for the admin of that group. And then they referred them to everybody else that came across in that group and asked them to come in and do like trainings and all the things. So yeah, the admins of the group are the ones you definitely want to make friends with a lot of times, especially industry specific like that, because how can you support them? How can you help them support their community better? Because that's what they're trying to do as well. Like they created that community of whatever business it is for a reason. So how can you help them support? At the end of the day, it's all about service. So go at it from a service perspective. How can you support whoever you're reaching out is what you're wanting to, you should be thinking about, not you at the end of the day.
Yeah, because if you're pitching yourself from me, myself, and I'm just in it to get 20 clients this month or my client for the month or whatever, you're going to come across either as desperate, needy, just taking from the group, and people that start Facebook groups are looking to give to the group. I know I do have a Facebook group for on my bookkeeping side, and I boot people all the time because they get in, and then they're just trying to post their flyers or sell their products, and you're like, that's not service. Teaching, but we're a bookkeeping community. I'm helping business owners run their business. Pitching your flyer of nutrition supplements is clearly not serving the audience. And so you're going to get booted. You're probably going to get blocked from the group. So you can't rejoin or whatever. But keep that in mind. And Pumpkin Plan, when he talks about it, he's talking about connecting specifically with vendors that have direct access that are also serving. So he specifically gives the example of he was serving an IT client. He got to know the IT company that was servicing the computers, like the servers or something like that, because they both had parts to play. They had other clients like this client, his ideal client. Let's partner up with that vendor. How can I serve you? That could be third-party softwares like Helium 10. Helium 10 was a software that people are using. Can I go directly to Helium 10? What articles, what magazines, what Facebook groups do they have that I can get involved in? Do they have a podcast that I can reach out and say, hey, I am currently doing bookkeeping for clients that are using your service. I would love to, if I could tell them one thing, I want to tell them this thing. I would love to get on and speak about this thing or that thing, give them 3 options. But I see that your clients have this problem. I can fix it. They just need to do this. It's so easy. And I would love to tell them what that one thing is, whatever it is, but make a connection. And that could be any software. It could be any vendor, any coach that they're using. So like if you haven't done this year, pull up QuickBooks, all your clients, and read through their vendor list. Compose a spreadsheet. Vendor A, business A, business B, business C. What are the vendors? What overlap do they have? Like duplicates on the sheet. Maybe you might find that 4 of them have the same vendor. Okay, we might want to look at that vendor more. Outside of QuickBooks, obviously QuickBooks Online is doing their own. That doesn't mean you cannot teach for QuickBooks Online and do an article and things like that. Right? Like they're clearly serving your ideal audience. Could you reach out and do an article? Okay. There's my rant on connecting with vendors. Some other things to do, if you haven't optimized your profile with what you do, your bio, your tagline, if they click on your header, your picture, your Facebook cover picture, if they click on it, does it pull up like a link to your website or to book a call? Are you making it easy for someone to get on your calendar or complete your sales form, whatever that first step for them to move forward with you? Is it easy? Is it clear what you want them to do? And then Megan mentioned building authority by adding value, just being yourself, getting in the group and serving. That is going to be your quickest way to getting clients, is to serve the people, the communities that you're in. Then you can network within the group. So you can meet other people. So you can either network with the admins, but you can also network with other people. Is there someone else in that group that is a companion? BNI, if you're in BNI, calls these power partners. So is there someone else that you guys can share business to? A CPA in the group, a tax preparer in the group, a tax strategist, a life insurance agent. Who else?
Financial advisor, CFOs, those are great referral partners. And they are looking for bookkeepers like crazy because both of them need their clients to have their bookkeeping done and in order for them to be able to do their job correctly. So those are great ones to reach out to.
Absolutely. So that's what it means to network, is we're going to start making friends. Really, at the end of the day, if you can make friends on Facebook, actual friends, think about what I actually, okay, you might not take everyone to coffee, but could I potentially see myself taking this person to coffee and sending clients their way? Are they operating with integrity? Are they someone I would take to coffee and say, oh, hey, sister-in-law, so-and-so does this service. You were just asking about it. If I'm not going to send a family member, I'm not going to send a client.
Yep.
Hopefully, I'm assuming you like your family.
I guess it depends too.
Slight assumption. Okay, and so then when you do promote in Facebook groups, if you do get the opportunity to promote wisely. I was actually just reading an article today from Financial Sense. Guys, how many of you read articles on bookkeeping, like learning your trade too? Financial Sense is talking about participating in, it was actually unrelated to Julia's podcast while I was looking at this article. But it said one of the number one reasons accountants and bookkeepers don't succeed on Facebook is that they're too promotional. When they're posting to Facebook, it's just, hey, buy my service. Hey, buy from me. Hey, join my, like, you're just pitching yourself, but you're not providing any value or serving your friends list, the people that are following your page. Like, if we show up and serve them, we completely revolutionize the way we're pitching ourselves. And it's going to get a lot more fun. And it's going to be a lot more clear to your ideal audience. Oh, they're not just desperate for business. They're actually trying to help me. Like, I can ask them a question. Now you have a lead because I can ask them a question without completely being pitched.
Yep.
I'm doing themes right now to keep content flowing. Right now, trying to engage people about Die Hard not being a Christmas movie. There we go. The cool
That's
thing
a good debatable topic.
the cool thing about that is you're finding people that you like to do business with, because having some commonality of, oh, hey, we're trying to do this, or we're enjoying this, or whatever, does make it easier to send newsletters out, emails, and things like that. Okay, so if you're wanting a plan, what do I do with this information? An example plan for posting in Facebook groups might be Monday, you answer 3 questions in the group without pitching. So you're going to search the group. Who's asking about mileage? Who's asking about 1099 contractors? Who's asking about if this expense is deductible, which is a huge thing, I think, in the cottage law industry. I think there's always not deductible. Tuesday, you can share a tip or a resource. Hey, I thought this article was good. So it's not even your article. It's not your blog. Could it be like if you have a YouTube channel and you send a video, hey, I thought this was helpful. Here's the link. Just pay attention to the groups. Make sure you're not just coming across as pitching yourself. So fine line there. Wednesday, comment on 5 posts to engage with members. So just be active. You're going to show your face. We want to genuinely care about the groups that we are favoriting. Learn about them, get to know the members, share us. And we actually have a 5-day marketing challenge that is also in it's 4X revenue rally. If you have access to that course, if you have purchased that, where we specifically talk about how to engage with people who comment on your Facebook groups. Okay. So if you're in the Bookkeeper Blueprint, you have access to that. If you're struggling with how to execute, that's a good place to start. You can then share a story. So this is Thursday, share a story or mini case study. Megan did this on her Facebook page last week. Was it last week where you shared your tax win?
Yeah.
That is a mini case study. That is a story. So she could share that in a Facebook group and just share it as a story. And for her, if she's in a Facebook group, it might just be, make sure your bookkeeper and tax preparers are looking out for your best interests. It might not even be like a pitch for herself. BOI, I have been saying since January of 2024 that you should be talking about BOI. So right now, you can absolutely. There's a comment in the group that says you can talk about BOI being paused. It boggles my mind how many people have posted on Facebook that they have no clue how they missed it. We have been talking about it in this group since January, February, whenever it was like announced as a thing. Absolutely. That is you should be, as the bookkeeper, the people in your audience should not miss what's going on with their business. They should not have missed the fact that BOI is a thing. Does that make sense? You should be on top of the news. You should be on top of what's impacting your clients. Does that help? And then Fridays, you could post or comment about specific bookkeeping pain points with a tip to solve it. That really is helpful if you do it as like a story. Hey, I just had a client come to me like this. They're in y'all's industry. Here's my number one tip to collect invoices on time. Things like that. Okay. Megan, anything you would add to that?
Definitely, there's so many things that you can be doing in the Facebook groups and stuff. I would definitely try to, one, figure out what industry that you're doing. Are you industry specific bookkeeping if you want to get in some of those groups? And a lot of your more local groups, those seem to have less of the other bookkeepers, I guess, in it. So you don't feel like you're in as much of a competition. Whereas if you just go type small business group on Facebook and you get like the US small business group, every bookkeeper, and I'm saying every bookkeeper, you're going to see tons of bookkeepers and all the things. And that's just because those are some of the first groups that pop up. So everybody's joining them and doing the same thing. So just FYI from that standpoint, we do have a question. What is your opinion on going live? Does it have an impact? Obviously, we're going live here. I think it depends on where you're going live and what kind of impact you're having. Obviously, we're doing it from a podcast standpoint. So the replays are here. We're providing value. We're answering questions. We're doing all the things. So you could definitely, and I've done it on my personal page and stuff from like Facebook or whatever at different points in my business. It does help you be able to one thing you got to remember about this type of business is people need to know and trust you because you're dealing with their finances. So you're helping people to learn to know you, like you, and all the things when you're doing that. So I don't think it hurts by any means. Is it necessary? We've seen a lot of business owners build their business without ever going live on Facebook. So I'm sure it does. And it also depends, again, are you doing it in a group? Are you doing it just on your personal Facebook page? Those kinds of things. Because most of the groups, unless you're creating them, they're probably not going to let you go live unless you find something like what we're doing here and we have guests that come on. So like you might be able to find some of those who are going live in their group and they would have you on as a guest, which would be amazing because they've already established that authority. So for them to bring you on as an authority in this industry, like that says a lot for them. So it's definitely not a bad thing for sure. So yeah, I don't know, Sherry, if you have any other thoughts on live.
Say a resounding yes to go in live. It does make an impact, but I do want to highlight the fact that Megan did say, do you have to? No, you do not have to. But Facebook, just like Instagram, they like people that use their platform and use the features on their platform. So if you can go live instead of sharing like a YouTube video, 100% go live for 3 minutes or whatever. And you can create a content plan around going live so that you're preparing people for you going live. You're following up with the people that watched you live. You're going to increase your visibility. You're going to humanize your brand. You're going to make it about a person, about yourself. You're going to show that, hey, I care about people. I'm not just posting this spammy content. Hopefully you're not posting spammy content anyway. You're not. The person that asked this is not posting spammy content. But you're going to also encourage real-time engagement. So people are going to be able to real-time interact with you. I love that about going live. It also allows you to create repurposable content. So if you go live for 5 minutes, now you have 5 minutes potentially where you can get 3 shorts from. Now you can share those to your stories, which Facebook is going to, because it likes you using their features. You can paste it to Reels. You can paste it to YouTube Shorts. You can paste it to you can repurpose. Do you have to do all of those platforms? Absolutely not. I would pick 2. Right. So if one decides to like hide your content for a week for whatever reason, you're still active on another platform. So I think live doesn't hurt if you like it. The other thing I would say is something Megan and I were talking about. Megan, if you don't mind me sharing this, we were talking about what is it that you can be doing that other bookkeepers don't want to be doing. Going live is one of those. Bookkeepers are typically introverts, but you're going to be doing what 80% of other bookkeepers don't want to be doing.
And you get a notification. I get notifications all day long when people go live. So you get that extra notification out there in their, whatever you want to call it, notification thing saying, hey, so-and-so went live today or whatever. So you definitely, yeah, and you definitely want to stand out in a crowd. What is going to set you apart if they're talking to 5 other bookkeepers trying to decide who to go with?
I'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.